why he was called the big bull. The markets, as many of our viewers would know, are divided between those who sort of are called bears and bulls. But I think he was the bull who will never be surpassed because his belief in the India growth story was unshakable. For a nation that was born with mass poverty that the British has left us behind, a divided nation in 1947, to a belief that by 2047 we will be the second largest economy in the world, from mass poverty to mass prosperity. I think that was what Rakesh Jhunjhunwala believed in. And that Abha, as you well know, reflected in his stock picks. Look at the names and we will realize that it was connected with the India growth story, Abha.
Connected with the India growth story, he's been very, very, very bullish on PSU banks, apart from that entire larger portfolio and some of those shares that he's been invested in for a long time. In the last few years, and we spoke to him as recently as at the India Today conclave, where he reiterated his stance on the India growth story and on the pockets of the market he felt would really drive that or be part of that as well. And of course, more recently, his airline just launched, Siddharth. This is even more poignant because it was something that he was extremely excited about. Akasa Air has just taken to the skies literally just over the last couple of weeks, and something that, again, he's been very, very confident about. The domestic growth story, the demand story. When we asked him even last year, talking about the launch of the airline at the time that he'd invested in it, he said, but I don't see any issue at all. There is a huge market in India. People will spend, people do want to fly. And this is just another ode to the fact that he saw the future coming.
You're absolutely right. And I think the fact that he chose to invest in an airline, and that airline business all over the world, not just in India, Abha, as you know, is famous for that saying, what is the fastest way to become a millionaire is for a billionaire to invest in an airline. Yeah. And imagine that was his confidence, because more and more and millions of Indians are taking to the air. I was recently on an inaugural flight to a airport in a small place, but a huge pilgrimage center of Devgarh. That was an Indigo flight, the first commercial flight, and there were people just out on the street to watch a plane land. So that's the real story of India. And Abha, I want to turn this around, if you allow me, quickly to you. What are the top two things that you would recall Rakesh Jhunjhunwala for? And I remember that you and I hosted him together at the Bombay Stock Exchange many years back, 4 or 5, 6 years back. And that was a program and event called Ask RJ. What are your memories of him, Abha?
Actually, it is very poignant. And I said this morning, because I was thinking back to all those years, but what's really made this, even more sad is because in the last few interactions that one had with RJ after a career of, starting from chasing him as a cover reporter and being scared of him, towards the latter few interactions, he'd actually become so much softer. He enjoyed chatting. He was far more benevolent as he was looking to give back. And, he would talk more about life at large and give you all kinds of insights and advice. So you got to know him as the man as well, in whatever limited capacity, you could in this kind of, environment where you're also discussing business and stocks. But he always had time for that. He had time to kind of take out and just catch up and say, okay, and now what's happening in your life? And talk about that for a little bit. And always wanted to share and give some kind of advice. And it was just wonderful, because you got
Absolutely.
He got a chance to see that he was very, very soft at heart. For him, what came first was his family, his wife, his kids. He just adored them. Of course, everybody knows this, and that was his biggest soft corner.
Absolutely, Abha, and we'll probably chat more about it as we reconnect. But for now, to leave our viewers on this Sunday morning with the sad news of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Abha, a sad event in the passing of this giant of the Indian stock market, someone who believed in the India growth story like no one else did. Once again, condolences to his family, to all his admirers.